Step into the octagon. My water, more water, shining. I'm a great American professor. Oh, it's like a tumor, I get you the rope. Oh, college school, I got a hey. Training inland, a friend of cannabis, flying triangles, elevates. Yo, I represent this planet. Professor O's, America, America. Achuga mare, pure giri, ambassador. Professor O's, America, America. Mamote, Brazil, oi halate. Professor O's, this planet. Professor O's, America. Migi wonsa woni mawale.
So we've talked about a lot of different principles with the front headlock. We've gone over the closed elbow, we've gone over body orientation. I think another important principle to think about is hand placement and hand fighting, right? So simply put, we need to understand that when people try to defend a front headlock, they're going to be moving their body orientation, and they have the option of putting their hands either on the mat or using their hands to defend, okay? So if they're not doing either of those, then they're probably just white belts, okay? But once they progress and they start to understand that they need to be active with their hands, they're gonna be doing things with their hands, okay? Maybe collecting your leg, maybe putting their hands on the mat so you can't move them, or fighting your grips, okay? That can be really annoying because you feel like you're going to be in a good position to choke somebody and you just can't seem to quite get your hands together, okay? So you can see how moves like the anaconda and the darce have already kind of solved that issue, and I'll show you, all right? You'll see she can fight with her hands right here, but the moment my hands come out here and are locked, just like a rear naked choke, she can't really fight with these anymore. That's off on the side of her body. It's closer to the back side of her body. She's not gonna be able to reach. If she can reach, it's with one arm. Like maybe she can use her cross arm to come all the way through, and that's it. But that's one arm versus my two. Okay, so we have the power of numbers right here. It's pretty similar right here, okay? Now to go off on a little tangent, it actually, if I go for the vice grip right here, when she 4 points, if I'm not immediately threatening her base, she actually can begin to reach up with her hands. Yeah, see that? So you have to be threatening the base actively, all right? But once I do have this locked up and I do start forcing, and I have gotten her to a side, then I don't really have to worry about that. Look, my hands are all the way behind her. Hand fighting is not going to be an issue anymore in the darce. So if there is an option to hand fight, it's definitely going to be up here when she's on her side, okay? Inversely, it's funny because in the anaconda, she doesn't have the option to fight this at all. But the moment we roll, let's say I brought her down to this side, she actually can start fighting, screwing with my hands right here. So it's funny because it's the opposite from the darce in regards to hand fighting. So you'll see you have more opportunity to hide your hands in both of these as opposed to an arm and guillotine, for example, where the hands are usually going to be in front of the face, especially at the beginning. So I hope that helps you understand more about hand fighting. We've talked about several different arm and guillotines. We've talked about a couple different arm handle variations for arm and guillotines, and you're probably wondering, well, shit, Ryan, what the hell do I use? Okay, let's talk about some of the basics around the principle of compression versus extension, right? We have these two options. We have the pretzel grip, and we have grabbing the pinky line, okay? I want you to notice that in these, my hands are actually doing two completely different positions, okay? We have pronated and we have supination, okay? So when I'm in a supinated position with my hands, okay, these are meant for pulling, and believe it or not, our elbows move tighter to our body in a supinated body position, in a supinated arm position, right? Our pronated position is better suited for pushing, okay? So you'll also notice that our elbows don't come as close to our body when we're in a pronated position, okay? That makes sense because it's easier to push my arms away from my body. But when I want to pull my arms into my body and bring my elbows as close as they can be, I want to be in supinated, okay? So this is applied through this pretzel grip right here. You'll notice that my elbows can get way tighter because my arms are going in a supinated position. See how my elbows go way tighter? And see, if I let go of the pretzel grip, you'll see, surprise, I'm in a supinated position, okay? As opposed to this other variation where these are pronated positions. I could do push-ups like this. They're not very easy, but I can do push-ups like this because this is a pronated position. Look, if I let go of my arms, surprise, pronated position, okay? So, have no fear because there's a reason we use either or, right? So we've covered the darsa and the anaconda and how the hands are hidden pretty well during like certain stages of it, probably after you've locked them up, okay? Now what's interesting about the front headlock, like an arm-in guillotine, is I'm actually not hiding my hands necessarily until I connect with my chest, okay? So if I have my partner in a front headlock right here, and I choose to do a guillotine, and we're gonna, for the sake of the move, I'm gonna do a pretzel grip right here. That's how I prefer to do this. So I have an arm-in guillotine right here, and maybe her arm is on the outside of my body, okay? So I have an arm-in guillotine, and if I just hang out here, then yes, she's gonna be able to like reach her hands in and start messing with my hands right here, okay? The reason being that I haven't, like, yes, I've closed my hands, but I haven't really closed the circuit of the grip. My goal should actually be to bring my hands to my chest, whether that's through being here and rolling and connecting my hands to my chest right here by puffing my chest out. I feel pretty tight. Okay, so puffing my chest out right here, or sitting into the guard, all right? So I can actually stop a lot of the hand fighting once I close this to my chest. So reach up and try to clear the hands. It's much harder, right? It's especially much harder once I sit. Sorry.
You're okay.
Sorry, one more time.
You're right.
It's especially much harder once I sit to the floor, and you can see how my chest is closing this circuit of a choke right here. So I hope that helps you understand how to prevent hand fighting in a front headlock from a parallel body position. We've talked about how a supinated arm position makes sense with the pretzel grip. Boom, supinated. It allows our elbows to get really tight so we can do compression better in an arm-in guillotine. Let's look at where we actually might want to use a pronated grip in order to push our opponent so that we can effectively choke them, right? So got an arm-in guillotine right here where I have a pronated grip on my wrist, okay? And remember, pronation is for pushing, okay? So a point where I might want to use a pushing grip would be when I want to push her underneath me and maybe walk my legs up to get my legs involved. Walk my hips up to get my legs involved. You can pinch, you can use your knees right here to pinch the arms. Okay, so pronation is actually serving us right here. All right, if she's grabbing my leg right here, I might want to tilt us to the mat. Boom, okay? Now, right here, I can actually use this pronated grip to, again, push down towards my legs so my legs can serve me, okay? This would be different if I was in like a supinated position right here, okay? It's gonna be way harder to pull and get my legs involved, okay? But right here I can push, and then boom, it's really easy for my legs to get involved right here. Now maybe I can lock up an anaconda choke like we talked about earlier. So that is a situation where I definitely feel like the pronated grip
and the front headlock wins versus the pretzel grip. It would be a situation like that where I do need to use pushing grips. All right, so I hope that helps with you understanding when and how to use one or the other.
An anaconda once I plant.